Alright, welcome back to video number 23 of my Elastic IRC Bot from scratch in C. So where I left off yesterday was pretty much finishing up all my testing for my parameter parsing. But tonight I'd like to get started off with actually refactoring some of my test names to make them a little bit more clear. And then I'm going to add two additional tests to check for the prefix. And I think I already have a command specifically, but I want to test to make sure that it fails when there's just a prefix and no command or anything like that. I haven't been working too closely with the spec on this because this is meant to, this bot for right now is meant to just sit on an IRC server and sit in an IRC channel. So with that said, I'm not going to implement too much more in regards to the command parsing, just because it's not really needed for this specific application. But if I were to put this up on a server and to behave more like ZNC would, which is an IRC server that you can connect to, and it connects to other IRC servers to buffer input as it comes in, so it kind of plays it back when you rejoin the channel, or when you reconnect to it, I mean. But maybe someday. But not anytime soon. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename my test, and that's pretty much what I'm going to do for right now. So pardon me if I'm not as entertaining. This is actually a Lexer test, so I think I'm going to put this underneath a different umbrella. I actually don't really need to prefix anything with test. I do a lot of PHP, and PHP unit is like, oh no, you have to put a prefix to all your tests. Well, I don't even know what to call it, just your test cases. So it's a little bit of a pattern that I picked up, but I actually prefer this approach. Given blank, do something. Alright, so this one I'm testing for the command parses out. So given command parsed. What a dumb test name, but I couldn't. I'm still relatively new to this, so given parameters. Given command parameters, test, there's 3. This might actually be a duplicate of another one, but given no parameters, command has no parameters. Oh gosh, I'm gonna roll tonight. given one parameter with no trailing gives one. Okay. Given a list, or given list of parameters, test that none have leading space. Okay. Let's see here. Given a trailing parameter, test spaces are allowed. Really, that's not even what I'm testing for. Like, I'm just asserting that there's 3, but that's kind of true. There should be no warning. There should be no parse error or anything like that. So, okay. Given invalid parameters, test or bot exits execution. I don't know. Terminates. Yeah. Given invalid parameters, bot terminates. That's what we want. Oh, what am I even testing here? Like, I don't even know if I need this test. I've already tested this. Wait, let me check real quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Yeah, I don't need to test that. Like, I'm already testing that someplace else. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Who? Given way too many parameters, fail. Or terminate. I'll just call it terminate program or something. Okay. Now I want to add my test for that at least a prefix is returned. So, I don't even know if I tested without a command that didn't have a prefix. I'll go ahead and do that. So, I don't need to write a failing test. Like, I know this is going to pass, but if it doesn't, maybe I have an actual issue that I need to look at. Given prefix, given a prefix is parsed. Okay. Just going to go ahead and remove that. And then here I'm actually going to test that. I'm going to assert, well, first of all, that this exit success. And then second of all, that the prefix is not equal to null. And I want to cr assert that the message, I don't know if there's like a string comparison. Assert strings are equal. Yeah, okay, we can do that. Actual, so we're gonna go to the message, prefix, and a lot of these tests I feel like could all have their, be grouped together, just have multiple assertions, but I know that's not really all that good practice. But at least it would kind of tell us what's going on too, so in a more concise way. I want to test that this is 192.168 .1.2 without the leading colon. So I want to assert that that's true. And then my last test, I want to assert that a command is parsed without a prefix. So, because I don't think I don't have any tests that do that right now. Given a command without a prefix, that command is parsed. And I'm just going to, first of all, this needs to be equal null. And then I'm just going to go ahead and do message. I don't have any test for my actual commands that are digits, as a matter of fact. Oh shoot, I just might add a couple more. The only reason why I'm doing this is to make sure that my program verifiably works before I start fiddling around with Elasticsearch, because I kind of want to take a testing approach with that too. Not necessarily with the actually execution of Elasticsearch, because I'm a firm believer in not testing libraries. I just assume that they work, and I hate mocking, so I think what I would rather test is that the things are being passed. I don't know yet. I'll think of it when I get there, I assume. Let's see, we'll do command, and then this will be the yeah, how am I gonna do this? I always forget how I set this up. That's in union, so name and value. Oh, dot value. Okay, so it's all static there, and this is going to be help. Let's make sure that this goes ahead and exit success, and I want to get rid of the prefix here because that's not needed. And as my last test, test that a number is returned. I'm also, well, there's also another command that I need to be aware of too. It has to be at least 3 characters, so I'm going to have 2 tests. Oh gosh, we can just do this all day. 2 tests. This one I want to exit fail because it has 1 too many digits. So we'll just do 1 0 1 0. I don't need to do any assertions because I'm trying to test that it fails. Given command with too many digits, fail execution, or terminate bot. And given a command with digits, integer is parsed. And in this case, I'm not going to do a CR assert for string equality. I'm going to look for instead that the command returns the digits. So in this case, it's going to be 101. So command dot, what do I call it, dot code. Yeah, dot code is 101. Do a little equality check there. And that ought to do it. So let's see if all my tests pass. Uh-oh. Oh, exit fail. Okay. Right. It'd be nice if I did a regex search for that one. Ah. Here we go. I wonder what's eating up my computer. Like, it's running like really hot right now. I don't even know why. It looks like it's OBS. Good lord. I don't know what that's doing. not Discord turned on or anything. Oh well. Sorry about that. I don't like it when my computer runs hot. I always assume something's like terribly going wrong, when in fact it shouldn't. Okay, no failing test. This is exactly what I'm looking for. All right, that about covers it. Cool. I'm now very confident that when I put this up on IRC, it's going to do the trick. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at that. If I can separate windows out here on my IRC stuff. Detach from window. That's probably what I'm looking for. And I don't know where it went now. This is all happening off screen. I'm trying to get IRC all set up here. So we're actually going to look at this. Let me clear all the connections and disconnects. Sweet. Okay, so we're actually going to run this for real now. Just to see what happens. Probably nothing's going to happen. I don't remember if I actually have like any output coming from this. Oh, I do have output coming from this. I completely forgot I had output on this. Oh, there was an error already. What? Well, that's not cool. Expecting token 2 but got 0 instead. Wow. Maybe this is a great time for me to create a test to mimic this behavior. First, I would need to see the line coming in. I wonder what did it. That's very interesting. Let's see here. Last I checked, I was printing all this stuff out right here. So, all right, well, let's look at the token first. So it was expecting token 2, 0, 1, 2, okay, but got 0 instead, colon. Okay. What was the line that it happened on? Maybe my Lexer. This would be a good time for me to add debugging stuff into my Lexer so I know exactly what line it's happening on. Was it my Lexer or was it my parser? Probably my parser. Definitely where the eat token happens. So, oh, I'm just going to do a search for it. Eat token. And then go ahead and click that. Okay, and then I think I'm going to do an f print f of the current line, stder. Wrap it in quotes. Put an s in there and stderr. Wrap it in quotes. Well, what did I call it? Lexer, or yeah, parser. Let's see, Lexer current line, or do I have a function? See get current line. Yes, parser, and then I pass in the Lexer, and then I get the line. Go ahead and put a slash in at the end of that. All right, let's run it again. See what we actually get here. Well, we know that this is parsing out the first bits here a-okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's not even an e token where this is happening at. Probably here. I'm going to go ahead and break out an actual function for errors. Specifically this error. because I feel like that would be super intuitive to have. So I don't know what to call it. I'll just call it expecting error. What do I need to pass to it? Definitely the expected token, current token, expected token and current token in the parser. So we'll do the struct IRC message parser. Whoops. And then the expected, which would be enum IRC token type expected, and then enum IRC token type got. Yeah, I'll stick to that. Oh, there was a difference in how that broke the line. I'm trying to fiddle with my IDE. I tend to prefer the Linux style of C programming code when it comes to putting things on multiple lines, which would kind of end up something like this. They all kind of just line up like that. Let's go ahead and define that function down below. Didn't mean to push that key. Generate definition. Go ahead and copy this code up there with the token. Clicking it. Go ahead and grab that, and then do expecting error, expecting expected token type, and then current token type. Oh, can't forget the parser. All right, let's bring that down here. Go ahead and do that fancy alignment that I like to do. Okay. Let's call this expected. Got. And call it a day. So interesting that it's happening right here. Expecting error. Let me undo that real quick. Let's see here. I got, whoops. For anyone watching, now's a good time to ask things in the chat there. I always appreciate it. It's always fun pretending not talking to myself for a change, because I'm definitely talking to myself right now, and I got to say, it feels weird, even though I'm talking to at least someone, but I don't know, it's just weird trying to talk everything out all the time. But you know, this is great practice. I definitely recommend doing Twitch live stream coding. It actually helped me out in a recent job interview, and it definitely helped me out when presenting to people, because normally when you go to meetups and you do presentations, when you do live coding, it doesn't necessarily work out ever. And I found out that the more I do this on Twitch, it actually becomes a lot easier to solve problems in real time, and to find errors and mistakes, and it's all to make me a better presenter. Okay, so here's our actual parse error. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I need to first of all remove that trailing line ending, because that's super obnoxious. Um, yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's I can't stand that. There's like this time command that in C or something that does that same shit, and it's like why the hell would you do that in your output? Like just put a new line there. Like that's so aggravatingly dumb. I'm sure there was a reason for it. Maybe it made writing like the actual the CLI command a lot easier or something. I don't know. It was dumb. Like I think I ran into that in a previous video. Honestly, where I had to remove the last two line endings. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now this is kind of like bad, so to speak, in the sense that I don't exactly know what my lines will end with here per se, but I do know that based off all of our testing, and if everything should work a-okay, there should always be an EOL at the very end. So let me go ahead and get the current line, and wow, I don't expose the actual line length. I might actually do that real quick. Elixir. Go ahead and generate that definition. Interesting that it decided to move it at the very top of the file, not my first choice. Oh wait, no. What? Why would it put it there? Whoa, hold on a second. That's not cool. I need to undo that real quick. Oh, it didn't check it in. Or it didn't track it. Okay. Okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah, size T, IRC Lexer get current line length. Yeah, I'm okay with that name. Where is that at here? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and shove it at the bottom there. Well, actually, that's where I have all my private functions, so I'm just going to do that here. And return Lexer current line length. And that should be pretty trivial. I should just inline that, but then I'd have to do it in the header file, and that's never good. I mean, it is, but I don't care to do that. Pass in the parser, get the Lexer. In fact, I'm just going to, I mean, I don't need to, actually, yeah, I don't, well, I do use it often, so, parser Lexer, and I'm just going to parse in Lex, and we're going to pass in Lex here too. First, we're going to get rid of the carriage return, because why not? And then next, we're going to get rid of the actual, line ending. Which would be -2, and this would be -1. Okay. And then that should take care of that. So let's run my test again. See what we got going on here. Sweet. Got rid of that line. Okay. I could improve this. Yeah, I'd make it one line if I can. There, now it'd be a little bit more understandable where these parse errors are coming from. Okay, there was an error parsing input expecting token 2, but instead got that. So, I mean, that's what we want. We want it to fail on there. Now, the real question is why is IRC coming back with this? So I'm going to go ahead and see what the actual line is now. Boot it on up. My bot should start showing up here, I guess, if it's able to connect. Let's see what happens. Son of a bitch. Well, this is horseshit. Uh-oh. Is the server disobeying the spec? Oh boy. That's not a good sign. Let's make sure I got this. Okay, so middle can be of that or that. Trailing can be anything of that. The NOS but any octet except null, CR, LF, and colon. I guess maybe it's okay after the fact. All right. I just don't see any other way. I didn't think about that because at any point anyone can type a colon character into. Okay, but we know we handle spaces, so I think. All right, well, CRLF is a given because I never seen multi-line messages in here before, so let me try it actually. Can I type in here? Okay, cool. Yeah, see, I push enter. That does nothing. I mean, shift enter. I mean, the moment I push that enter button is when that happens. So, I mean, okay. Interesting. I don't know what a null character is. Maybe that's a shot in the dark. It probably escapes it. Ooh, that brings up a good point. I didn't think about the escaping aspect of things. Well, interesting. Okay, maybe I'll adjust my test. Maybe I'll adjust that test to allow that because I mean it makes sense that I should. I don't know why I didn't catch this sooner, but it kind of makes sense that I would be allowed to do that later on. I don't know how people are going to be able to put a null character into IRC or a carriage return, so I'm guessing colon ought to be okay. So why don't I go ahead and adjust my test? This is good. This is why we have tests. But I just need to find it. I believe it's somewhere up here. Here. Okay, so we want this test to actually return true. So we want this to be exit success. And instead, it's not given invalid parameters. It's given parameter with extra colon succeeds. I don't know if I spelled that right. My IDE is inputting a squiggly line, so I'm guessing it's a-okay. Okay, so this should succeed. I would expect for there to be a CR assert of one parameter, or in this case 2 parameters, so I'll just go ahead and verify that. This is like the most useless assert ever, but whatever. What is it? Command parameter count equal to 2. Alright, not 22. I must have typed that twice. Let's go ahead and run that. Oh, failed. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the minimum update to fix that, and I believe this right here is the fix to that. So if I comment that out, my test should pass now, and it does. So that's the bit of code I need to remove. Good, because I didn't like it anyway. I love deleting code. Alright, everything passed, so let's do it for reals. Let's get in there. Oh, I have Slack open. That's probably the real reason why this computer's killing itself right now. Usually I close Slack before this, but look at that. Look at that. This should be of no problem. Ah, this is great. Okay. Wow, I can't believe it only took 23 fucking videos. I mean, to get to a very, good point. Someone in an earlier video was like, "Oh, why don't you use Python or Node?" And I'm like, "Well, I like doing things the hard way." I don't know. I feel like I learned a lot. Hopefully other people who watch this have learned stuff along the way as well. Now I don't know what I want to do. Maybe I just want to print out the parameters just because I want to see them pop up here, just to see what they actually are now for a complete picture. Or maybe I want to fix my testing because, 001 is a valid command, I suppose. There's no rules in the spec that says it can't be less than 3 digits. It just has to be at maximum 3 digits, at least as far as I could tell. Maybe I misread something. I don't know, 1 or many letters or 3 digits. I mean, this does say the 14. Yeah, I wish if I knew how to read this a little bit better. But I kind of like this approach here because, let's be honest, if suppose I'm using this and I've already implemented some sort of like message bus in an earlier video to do message passing and things like that. And if I want to bind to a specific command, let's not fool ourselves. Are you really going to type 001 if you're trying to, equal something? No, you're just going to type fucking 1. So I'm going to leave it 3 characters or not, or 3 digits or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm leaving it. Otherwise, I'm going to make it a string, but I don't want to do that. So, okay. Right. So I want to just print out stuff just for the hell of it. So we have our command code. We have our things here. So I'm just going to add a trailing one of these things. And then just list out our parameters. So for how many? It was a uint of t. I think I had it as u, and 8 of t. I less than message command parameters count, and then we're just going to print them. Give it a nice %s with the trailing space. And it will be message command command parameter, or wait, command. Maybe I need to adjust my naming conventions here. Parameters I, and that ought to do the trick. break that. Because I believe I implemented the functionality that will track a ping and then pong it back so my bot stays on the server for all eternity as long as it's running. I'm going to look into those build errors here in a minute. Probably just insignificant warnings. Alright, so it should join me back. Oh! What is this all about? Pointer being freed was not allocated? Say what? Am I overcounting parameters? Ooh, that's good. Why don't I go ahead and run this in debug mode and get a breakpoint? This is not something I tested for, I don't think. Clearly. But I feel like I would have ran into it sooner. I don't know where that freeing happened. I wonder if there was like a race condition maybe. Yeah, what the hell? Where did it break at before? Was there compiler optimization? That would suck. Well, this is cool. We're getting everything. That's nice. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That would be really shitty if something got compiled. But it's all in debug mode, so nothing should have... Oh boy, race conditions. I'm hesitant to say that I actually do have a race condition because the way I set all my threads up, I'm using particularly this concurrent queue that's supposed to have locking mechanisms, and the parsing is always happening in the well, we can actually take a look at this. Okay, so I create my buffer thread. So I have one thread that's solely responsible for doing the buffering of all the crap that comes in through IRC. And all it does is it parses it out, puts into a line, character by character, because that's how this buffering works. And then it puts it all into a line. And then after that, it will put it into that queue, and then from there, this secondary thread will pick it up. And the reason why I'm pausing is because something caught my eye. This caught my eye. Our call F proposals is live. We're getting some truncating things happening, which don't entirely seem all that right to me. Which means I wonder if there is an explicit line break in the message of the day. because none of this makes sense. Like more information, like it's cutting it off. It could be it could actually be my output here, but I again I don't like I don't think so. That or this is like some either that or the buffering's not working right. Oh well. Um, we're about an hour in, so I might call it quits. Does anyone have anything to add to the stream chat? I'm always welcome. Oh, I don't want to put that there. I'm always welcome to see people typing and things like that. If there's any questions or concerns, or if you want to call me a dumbass, that's cool too. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into this more. I do find it kind of odd that we get this crap ton of information, but even that looks a little truncated. So I don't even know what's going on with that. Maybe the buffer is weird. That's always a possibility. I can show that real quick. Where that's all happening at. So let's see here. So when I create my thread, it's going to point to this function. Well, that's the thread, sorry. Where is the function? This is the function. So when it gets into here, we have to do the normal reading of, oh wait, hold on. Okay, yeah, so we have to like read out all the characters because it kind of buffers it all. But a new line could exist. So after a line of buffer has been cleared, like I think I have 512 is the max I have set here. There's always the possibility that once that gets exceeded, the next line may actually contain the line ending from the previous line, and I thought I handled that fairly well, but there might be an issue with that, because I could just write a test and spit something stupid out like this right here. I don't think we'd see any truncation, but I don't know how to test that, how to test truncation, so I don't know. Whatever. Well, I'll deal with it probably next time, or think about it and then deal with it next time. Okay, with that said, that's all I have tonight. This project can be found at my GitHub at fredlawl/elastic IRC bot. Tonight's stream would be the 14th, I believe, unless I got my dates wrong. Yeah, the 14th, so it would be 2018-09-14. And this will be YouTube video number 23. I'll have all the videos up on YouTube from the past few days, probably tonight or tomorrow. But the code will definitely go up tonight. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you next time.